Hello, teacher. Today I would like to tell you about short talk on sequence. Number one, first, the speaker said to the student that when they when they got their test, uh, wrote their name at the top in capital letters before they doing anything else. Uh, then he said, um, read the directions carefully before they answer the questions and met and mark their answers on the answer sheet. Uh, Next, uh, he suggested let him know if they didn't have pencil. Finally, when they have when they had finished when they had finished uh, turning their test and go home. Number two, first the speaker said that their director would introduce processor Simon. Um, Processor Simon talk about uh, history of the violin, and he had lectured on the violin on around the world. Then that evening concert, this that evening concerto would play in by Miss Shu Kim, and finally uh, they would on went to the lobby to enjoy refreshments. Number three, first the speaker said to the visitors that when entering the building, sign in at the desk and get a visitor's pass. Uh, and he reminded um, that they would need to wear it at all times when they are in the building. Next, um, he said, wait for an escort to accompany they to their destination, uh, and they must also be escorted back to the reception desk. Finally, sign out and return their best when leaving. Number four, the speakers got customers' attention. So she said that the store would close in 15 minutes uh, and take on their purchases to the cashier. Uh, then um, she suggested if they were buying five or fewer items and were paying with cash, they could use the express checkout. Next, she remind she reminded that had their receipt ready to show the guard when they leave in the store. Finally, um, check to measure on their items are the right size and right color before you pay before they pay, because they didn't accept returns. Number five, the speaker said that coming up after the news were was their weekend weather report. Then reporter Tom uh, would interview Susan Gilbert, who about you Susan Gilbert about her new book. Um, um, Miss Gilbert was a renowned expert on investing and finances, and write the weekly newspaper column "You and Your Money." Number six, the speaker said that there should be a large turnout for the following day afternoon's National Day parade. It would be preceded by speeches by the mayor and the chief of police. Then everyone was invited to enjoy a barbecue and fireworks at City Park in the evening. Finally, he reminded uh, didn't forget to attend the morning soccer game at National Stadium, but arrive early if they want to be sure of getting a good seat. Number seven. First, the speaker said that a few changes had been made to their conference schedule because of scheduling conflicts. Professor Jamison would speak immediately following lunch instead of before. Then morning coffee would be served in the front hall instead of in the dining room. Next, the morning workshop would begin at 10 o'clock as originally scheduled, but the afternoon session won't be begin until 1:30. And finally, Miss Carter would give the opening talk. Number seven, number eight. First, the speaker said that the president left that day for a visit to Latin America. Uh, he would uh, he would head first to a meeting in Mexico City with leaders from Colombia, Brazil, and Mexico. Then, following a few days of rest at a Mexican beach resort, he would uh, went on to go on to meetings with heads of state in Peru and Ecuador. Finally, in addition, he would tour factories and meet with union leaders in both countries. Number nine. First, the speaker congratulated on becoming an owner of Brett Griffith 2010 braking machine. Then there 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 were sure to enjoy the luxury of having press brake every day right in their own home. Next, he said it was easy to use their new bread machine. Simply choose a receipt, recipe um, from the instruction book, assemble and measure their ingredients, then place them in the machine. And finally, as the bread bake, they wouldn't be able to wait for their first date. Number 10. First, the speaker was introduce their new system to register for classes by phone to avoid the long lines at the registration office. And then just call to the phone number, the number phone, and press 1 if they were a new student, or press 2 if they were a returning student. Next, enter their social security number, the class number, and credit card numbers. Then hang up. Finally, uh, he reminded. Um, he finally he said that they would receive receipt by mail within 5 days.